Holy moly. We have 92 people registered today. Yeah. So just so you know, this max is out at 100. So if we reach that, some people won't be able to get in. So I'm hoping that it stays within like 99. All right. I have to scroll through pages just to find people. All right. Still waiting on Angie. I think I don't see her quite yet, so she'll be coming in soon. How's everybody doing this morning?
Good morning from El Paso.
Morning, Denise.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. Good morning, Michelle. So I got to think by now, everybody's got their black belt in webinars right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
There Angie is.
Hello.
Morning, Ken.
Hey.
Howdy.
Howdy. All right, same house rules apply as normal, guys. We do want this to be conversational, definitely, just because there's a lot that's going to be people want to add and stuff. Please use the chat for sure. So the chat button's at the very lower corner. If you see that, there's a little chat bubble. If you push on that, that'll actually go to the side of your conversation, and you can kind of see what the conversation is, and we can read from that. That makes it a lot easier. Also, feel free to interject, add things. We don't want it to be completely like, just us hearing us talk. So we're also kind of hoping that everybody kind of mutes themselves when you're not talking, just because I know there could be some kids tied up behind you or, craziness going on in the background or something. So make sure that you're muted so that other people can hear. And if you want to speak, unmute yourself and, go for it. I think we're going to have lots of people today. Like I said earlier, we have 92 people registered. So we usually get about half that. So we might have about 40 to 50 people on today. So definitely take advantage of the chat. Take advantage of keeping yourself on mute so people can hear, and interject if you want to add something, because we do want to hear from you. Angie is talking to us today about how to move forward when the world stops. I know, kind of a chilling title. We all have experienced changes this last 2 weeks. It is a different world for sure, and it's changing day by day. Right, a lot of us have teams that we have that depend on us to make sure that we have a clear message, that we're moving forward, and that we're taking care of them. And so Angie's going to speak to that as far as, how to handle these kind of situations and tools that you can use today. This will apply to everybody. That'll help everybody kind of cope. Or even, just new strategies that you can use. So without any further ado, Angie Snow.
Thank you, guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Make sure you guys can all see that all right. How's that look? Thumbs up. All right, awesome. And then Colleen, if you'll just go ahead and check the chat for me and fill me in. I'm not going to have that box open, but let me know what comments are coming in and what people want to talk about. So thank you guys so much for joining us on our Zoom in webinar today. This is super fun. We love to do this with women in HVACR. I'm really glad that Colleen asked me to talk about this today, because this is a very timely topic. You see so much coming at us from the media about what's going on. This is happening now. This is happening now. And it seems like all of us are just getting filled with so much emotion right now. And leaders sometimes don't know where to go with that or how to manage that emotion. So today I'm going to talk a lot about how to step into that leadership role, how to effectively manage your thoughts and emotions through this crazy time so that you can take consistent action and you can keep moving forward through all the craziness. Now, we know that this is unprecedented times, right? It seems like every email that I get lately, we are in unprecedented times. That's how they all start, right? This is something we haven't seen before, this pandemic that's sweeping the world. At least I haven't seen it in my lifetime. I haven't been alive for something like this. But, the fact is we've all been through hard things before, right? We've all had hard things happen in our life, whether it's a health scare, whether it's losing a loved one, a financial crisis, something that we've had to deal with financially, maybe the death of a loved one. Perhaps it's been, maybe you've gone through a divorce. We've had other problems with stock markets before. We've had government issues. We've had hard things happen, and we've made it through it. And so it's keeping a perspective that, yeah, we haven't seen this before, but we can make it through it. And the number one emotion that we're seeing in people right now is that they're scared. There's fear. They do not know what's going to happen. They don't know, and so that number one emotion is fear that they're facing. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how to get through that emotion of fear. And the number one reaction that people have to fear when they get scared is they just stop. And they stop trying and they stop pushing forward. So that's one thing that we do not want to do as leaders, especially. Now, this is focused on you taking a leadership role, no matter what capacity you are, in your business, in your home, in your community. You may say, well, I'm not a leader in my business. I'm not a leader at my job right now. Yeah. You can be a leader, and you can be designated as a leader if people look to you for someone to follow and someone that they can trust. Just want to thank everyone for muting themselves as they join the call. That will help us keep our background noise to a limit. I love this quote by Peter Stark. In a moment of crisis, reactions set the leaders apart from the followers. The way we react to a situation will essentially define us as a leader. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today, is how we can stay in control of our emotions, how we can stay in control of all of those things so that we can stand apart and be seen as a leader. So with all the craziness coming in, sometimes we feel like, oh my gosh, I am so out of control right now. I've got to get a grip, right? We've got to get a grip. Well, the reality is there are just some things that you do not have the power to control, right? You don't have the power to control the spreading virus that's going global. That is not within your control. You can do things to prevent it from moving further in your own home and within your means, but you personally cannot stop it. You can't stop natural disasters from happening. We just had an earthquake here in Utah 2 days ago. It shook everywhere. I was about an hour, a little more than an hour south of it, and I still felt it in my home. I can't stop that. I have no control over that. In your company, what policies are being set forth? And unless you're the owner, unless this is your business, you don't have control over the policies. You just have to adhere to what your leaders and your managers are telling you to do. We don't have any control over government decisions. We don't have control over how other people are behaving. I mean, this is insane to see how people are, last week especially, how people were overreacting in grocery stores, knocking people down, fighting for products. Like, what's going on? I can't control other people. I can't control finances, the stock market. What do I have control over then? This is how we get a grip, as we realize what we do have control over. Well, I do have control over my emotions. I have control over my attitude, and I have control over the way I'm going to respond. The words I speak, the actions that I take. And leaders know this. Leaders know what they actually do have control over, and then they take action. Okay? So let's talk about emotion for just a moment, because this is a big one right now. You know, these new scary things are happening. We're not sure how to respond. And we're just getting filled with all these crazy emotions of fear, anxiety, overwhelming, worry. And so what I want to teach you today is a little bit more about emotions. Emotion is actually energy in motion. Something triggers your mind and you feel an emotion. Emotions are feelings that are generated through thoughts that you're thinking, images that you see, words that you hear, and sometimes even words that you say can invoke or trigger an emotion. And that, in turn, causes you to react or act a certain way. And so if we can get a grip on our emotions and we can manage these properly and navigate them, we can make more rational decisions. But when we do not have a grip on our emotions, that's when we act irrationally, like the people that are going crazy hoarding toilet paper. And if that's what you, more power to you. I know some of us have our toilet paper well stacked right now, right? One thing that's important to know is that many of the emotions that we have and experience are programmed from our past. Way from the time we were tiny kids, we've been programmed to react a certain way and to have certain emotions when certain things happen. For example, I grew up in a home where every time my mom got mad, she was not one to manage her emotions well. If something rattled her, she would lash out. She would scream, she would yell. I grew up in a house of screaming and yelling because that is how my mom managed her emotions. That's how she released it, and that's how she got it out. Now, my husband, on the other hand, he grew up in a home where his mother was very calm at all times. If something triggered her, it took a lot for her to really react and really, lash out. And so this is kind of funny, but when my husband met my parents for the first time and came to our house, and I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and saw my mom yelling at everyone, it rattled him. He was not used to seeing someone just letting their emotions out like that. And so think about the way you've been programmed to handle your emotions. What have you grown up with? Who are your mentors? Who are your teachers, your parents? What role models did you look up to, and did you gain your emotional management from? Now, just because you've been programmed this way doesn't mean you need to stay that way. It doesn't mean you can't change the way you manage your emotions. But oftentimes we get stuck in that past. Well, this is how I've handled it before. This is how I'll handle it again. It's really important as a leader to set forth and handle your emotions in a much smarter, wiser, responsible way. So because we know that emotions are energy in motion, they can move. Emotions can change. You can feel excited one moment, you can feel scared one moment, you can feel angry one moment. We have a range of emotions that we can feel all day long. I mean, think about just from the time you woke up, how many emotions have you already experienced today? These emotions are constantly moving. And so the key to emotional management is to get rid of these negative emotions as soon as you are aware of them. It's being aware of the emotion and knowing how to effectively release that emotion, let go of it. It doesn't serve us to hold on to these negative emotions because they just take up space inside of us. And if we say it's just going to settle down, we'll wait for it to settle, you're letting that emotion settle in you. You're not really clearing it and getting it out of you. And then that's when people start thinking irrationals, when they're filled with these negative emotions and they can't let them go. So we're going to talk about a few things you can do to manage those emotions and let them move through you and get them out of you when you start to feel that anxiety or whatever those emotions are that are negative. So the first one, the first tool here is to express the emotion. We're getting it out of us. You can talk about it. You can write in your journal about it. Last week I happened to be in Hawaii when all of this was going down, and I experienced a lot of emotions. I was not with my children. I had very old, my in-laws are very old, and they were here with my kids. My father-in-law is diabetic. I was nervous for him that my kids were going to pass something on to him. I was nervous I may get stuck in Hawaii and not be able to be home. I didn't know how my team was responding to this. I didn't know. I just had so many emotions and so much fear and anxiety. And here I'm trying to enjoy this vacation, but I was just having a lot of emotions. And so one of the things that works for me, and I do this a lot whenever I'm going through anything that's difficult, is I get out a journal and I write down what I'm feeling. If I can take that emotion out of my heart, out of my mind, and get it on paper, then I can move it and I can start to think more clearly because I'm getting it out. Sometimes we feel like we have to hold on to it so we can learn from it, but it's more important to get it out. So that's one way to do it. Whether you're the kind of person that needs to talk to someone, or write it down, express it. You'll notice a lot of people right now, a lot of my emails, and when I start conversations are like, how are you doing? How are things going? People want to talk about this. It helps to talk about it. Number 2 is music. Listening to positive music, singing music, different kinds of music can evoke different emotions. We all know that. So whether it's powerful music, angry music, calming music, soothing music, happy, upbeat music, different types of music can help you move your emotions and get to a different place. Number 3 is to plan. Really, once you've started moving this, start thinking of a plan, because a lot of times it's like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And we start to freak out because we can't see a plan. We can't visualize a plan. So start thinking things through. If you can't think of a plan, look to other people. Ask other people what they're doing. I think that's one of the benefits that we have of being in a group like this, so that we have people that we can talk to. We have people that we can, what are you guys doing in your business? How are you handling this situation? And we can all think through these things rationally and make a good plan. And once you have a plan, those emotions of fear and, unsure, all those unsure emotions, they start to leave. 4 is limit. Limit the social media, limit the information, distance yourself a little bit from it. I have to be really careful with this. If I am getting constant input of bad, look, and now this is bad, and now this is happening, it can just weigh you down. You need to distance yourself a little bit from it. You'll hear about it, I promise. You don't have to be constantly on the internet browser. Now what? Now how many cases are there? Now what's the new? Like, limit yourself from it for a little bit to give yourself a break. If you're constantly putting back this negative energy in, it's really hard to dispose of it because you have so much in there. So be really, really careful about that. And number 5, you may have your little Zoom thing in the way. My Zoom pictures aren't right there, but you can move that out of your screen if you touch the top thick black bar at the top of your images. Is to move. Number 5 is to move. Moving your body, stretching, exercising, whatever you need to do, get out and move. Get some fresh air. A lot of times when we have emotions, our brains release different types of hormones into our body, different types of things. We get anxiety, it gets built up in us. We need to relax. We need to move our body and let some of those things flow through our body so that we can feel better. Now, these are just 5 tips that I use personally to help me manage my emotions and things that have worked well when things get a little bit crazy. Does anyone have another one that they'd like to share, or something that you're like, oh, Angie, you forgot this one. This is a good one. This is the one I use. Okay, keep thinking. I want to try and keep this interactive. I don't want to take over the whole thing.
Hot bath.
Ken suggested meditation.
Oh,
Valerie said gratitude. Oh, I like that, Valerie. Gratitude. I really do like that one. And Laura said she takes a drive.
Good. Yes. Perfect. I love it. Thank you guys for sharing.
And Jennifer said she goes for a walk.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Randy also said meditation. And they do it in the office. That's pretty cool.
Good. Do it as a team.
Mary, a hot bath and a bottle of wine. Amen, sister. Gardening. Juliet, praying. Yes. Check on friends and neighbors by calling. Denise. I kind of do that too. I like to, check in on everybody.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you guys.
Listen to music and read, Bianca. There's a lot coming in. Listen to music and read.
Perfect. Good. So it's important to know what works well for you. I told you journaling is my best outlet. That's what I found works best for me. Know what works best for you so that you can take a minute from your emotions and release some of those. Now remember, we just talked about our emotions. We have the power to control these. We have the power to manage these, to navigate these, and we can do that. So what about our attitude? What about our response and the way that we're going to address this with our team, address this with those around us? this is kind of fun. I take this back from being a teacher, and I use this with my students a lot. I use it with my employees now. I use it in a lot of my trainings. Your attitude is as easy as ABC. I believe there are two types of attitudes that you can have in responses. You can have an attitude of blaming and complaining, and everything that's going on. You can complain about it. You can gossip about it. You can contribute to the chaos. And when you do that, you should know that it leads to a place of worry. It leads to a place of anger, doubt, fear. It's not a good thing to be doing these kind of things. So I suggest you do not take up this attitude. Instead, I'd suggest an attitude of building and creating. What are you doing to find a solution? And when we have this attitude that I'm going to build something, I'm going to create something. This crazy situation just happened. And instead of blaming and complaining and he should have done that and the government should have done this, I'm going to make the best of this and I'm going to build and create something amazing out of this. That's a leadership mentality. That is a leadership attitude. And when you do that, it helps other people around you. It leads to gratitude, patience, hope, service, compassion, and you find the solutions that you need to get yourself and your team through any crisis. So I want to talk about just 3 steps and actions that you guys can take to lead in a time of crisis. Three things that I think are very, very important in taking that leadership mindset, that attitude that I'm going to be a leader and this is how I'm going to lead out in this time. The first one is to decide. Decide right now. Remember, you have control over your emotions. You have control over how you're going to act and respond. I'm going to decide that in this crisis, I'm going to be the calm one. I'm going to be the one that people can look to because I am not freaking out. Take a few deep breaths, keep your perspective, and at times you're like, I don't know if I can do this. You can because you've decided you can. It's a mindset. You decide that you will be the calm one. Stay centered. Keep your emotions where they need to be. We've already talked about how to manage those. Once you've got those managed, you come in and decide, I'm the leader here. I'm going to set the tone and be responsible for what you're projecting. That is that attitude. Be responsible. If you are projecting this negative, your team will feel it. Those around you will feel it. I would suggest that you project the positive. Project, we're going to get through this. Even though you don't know how yet, you've decided that you are going to be the one to do this. I love that I am the calm in the storm. You know, the middle of the storm, the middle of the eye of the storm, that is where the most calm place is. You be the eye in the storm. You be that calm spot that your team can look through. When you're doing this, remember, you have to have a grip on your emotions first before you're presenting and talking to your team. So remember that your thoughts and words and imagery are all contributing to your emotions right now. So that's why the second one is to fortify your mind. Put good things into your mind, good thoughts, good images, good words, because whatever you put into your mind is what's going to come out, right? So choose good, focus on putting good things. I know a lot of you are very mastered in your routines, in your habits, in the things that you do every single day, excuse me, to show up and to be ready and to be proactive and to have a great day. Just 1 minute. For me, I have my routine that I do every morning. I have my exercising that I like to do. I have my meditating, my spiritual time. I have a time that I plan out my day. I think of all the areas in my life where I want to show up and be present and be intentional. And when I'm doing that, I'm putting so much good in my mind that that's what I see and that's what I'm projecting. And nothing should change in time of a crisis. Yeah, we need to handle the things, but stay grounded, stay focused, put the good in yourself so that the good can come out. I used to have a running partner who she was a great friend. We had a lot of fun. But one of the things that she failed to do, she was a news, but like she loved the news. She had the news on all day. She had it on in the morning. She had it on while she was doing her housework. She was always listening to the things. And the media I don't know if you've noticed this, but the media has a tendency to just share the negative. Gloom and doom, this is what's happening, be ready, be prepared. And so this is what she would bring to me on our runs some days. Some days I would go for a run, she'd be like, did you hear about this? And this is happening, and I'm worried about this and this and this. And I would come home from my run and I would just be like, oh my gosh, I feel like I just had a whole bunch of garbage uploaded into my mind that I did not need today. I need to stay at my best. I will get the news. The news will come to me. But is that within my control? Can I really control the news? It's important to know what's going on, but not so much that it's consuming you. So choose to fortify, strengthen your mind, strengthen what is going into you. And a big part of this is your words, the things that are the words that you're saying to yourself, how you talk to yourself. There's those little voices that are going to plant doubt in your mind. You know, this isn't going to come out. You guys are going to lose a lot of money in this still. You're probably going to have to lay off everyone in your team. No, you replace those. I've got the power to find solutions. I can do this. Talk to yourself. Replace those little negative voices with positive, encouraging words. The third step you can do to lead in time of crisis is to engage. Don't ignore this. This is a crisis. This is something we're facing. We've got to face it. Take action. Look for ways you can adapt. We all want, our natural tendency as human beings is, I just want to shut down. I want to get away from this. I want to protect myself from this. But don't surrender, because a leader can't go hide away. The best leaders that have led us in times of crisis have been the ones that aren't afraid to go and face whatever is coming at them, because they've been able to manage their emotions, because they've came with that attitude and that response of, we're going to get through this. And they've started to identify possible solutions and ways to move forward. That's what these leaders are doing. And that's what we need to be doing, is we're engaging. Charles Darwin says, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. It's the one that's the most adaptable to change, which is true. We're all going to be changed after this. We are not going to run our businesses the same way. I'm already adapting. I've been homeschooling my kids for 3 days now, and I never thought I would be a homeschool mom. And I'm kind of liking it, which is kind of weird, right? We are adapting. The way that we're doing things now will soon become our new normal, right? And so why not move through that with this optimistic hope and vision of what can be, instead of dwelling in the doom and gloom. I did want to touch just a little bit on fear here, because fear is one of the biggest emotions that we're dealing with right now. And as you've just heard those 3 steps to lead through this crisis, we're aware of this emotion of fear. Fear usually comes from one of 3 places. A fear that you're going to have pain, or you're going to lose something. I could die from this coronavirus, right? We have this fear because we just want to survive. I have a fear that I could lose my business. I have a fear that I'm gonna be hurting the lives of my employees if I have to lay them all off. Like, what are your biggest fears? That way. The second type of fear is the fear of the process of actually going through this hard thing. And the third type of fear is the fear of the outcome. Oh man, the worst thing is we're all going to die. The worst thing is, we automatically go to worst case scenario, don't we, in a lot of situations. And this is the mindset of fear. But as a leader that can decide to be a leader, that can fortify their minds, and that can engage in this, we can now look for new ways to deal with these types of fear. So if you have that fear, and being able to identify, what kind of fear am I dealing with right now? I'm feeling this emotion of fear. What kind of fear is it? And how can I change that out, move that emotion for something different? Well, for the fear of pain or loss, find something opposite. I'm going to be courageous and I'm going to win. What am I going to gain through this experience? Think of things that are great about this. Now, my kids are sad school's out. They're sad that they're stuck at home. They're sad that, but what can we gain? Well, the other day, and I shared this on a call yesterday, my kids were like, my son was just like, well, since I'm here, I would really like to get my room painted. Well, let's do it. And that kid's been working for 2 days straight. He took everything out of his room, everything off of his walls. He washed his walls. He mudded all the holes in his walls. He taped his walls up. He painted his walls last night, and he is just thrilled about it. And now he has this fresh new room. And we get so busy in our lives that this may not have happened till even this summer. I don't know when this would have happened. This is something that we personally gained in my home. I'm getting more time with my kids now, which is so fun. I'm learning how to work from home more. I think of all the things that we're gaining. Who'd like to share some of the gains that you're seeing and the opportunities that are coming because of what's been going on the last week or so? Type it in the chat box. Any ideas? Let's see if I can open the chat box here. What are you guys gaining? Oh, a positive attitude. Jammy day every day. Who doesn't love pajama day every day, right? Oh, a flexible schedule. Less global emissions. That's right. This is a great effect for our environment to keep that out of the air. More hugs from the kids. We're not wasting money on gas anymore, are we? Think of all the travel time we're saving. Getting to read those books. I love that, Melissa. Working from home, lots of lessons, home improvement, more in control of your life. It's a time to bake. We're finding out we really did have hobbies and talents. Remember those that we used to do all the time? Oh, I love this. Thank you guys for sharing all of your thoughts on the chat there. Keep those coming. We really are gaining. This is how you replace that fear. Is you're like, look what we're gaining. We're not losing here. We're gaining something. Now, to combat this fear of the process, that this is going to be hard, that it will make you stronger, remember, you've made it through difficult things in the past. That's the new mindset. You need to replace that fear. We've made it through hard things before. We'll make it through hard things again. We can get through this. And then the third one, fear of the outcome. Why do we always go to worst case scenario? It's always, this is going to happen, end of the world. It's apocalypse right now. I mean, I don't know how many times I've heard the apocalyptic term thrown around in the last week or so. This is just the craziest of times. Let's just find perspective. We can't go catastrophic, and choose to imagine a much more positive outcome. Choose to imagine and see new solutions and new opportunities. You have to very consciously not go to catastrophic. You have to stay positive. So those are just some of the things that I hope that you can use in your life to help you deal with the fear. And I hope you can help your teammates and your children, your family members, your community also use some of these mindset swaps to replace the fear for something better. It's just am I in a mindset of abundance and all these wonderful things that we're getting to do now? Or am I in a mindset of fear and lack and I can't get the toilet paper I need now? It's really, really important to make sure that we stay focused and refocus into that mindset of abundance. All right. Last part of this is just how to move forward. How do we keep moving forward from this? Once we've got our mind right and we want to keep moving forward, leaders the characteristics of leaders that do this are amazing. Number one, they have confidence. Confidence is what you think about yourself. And that's what matters the most right now. It's not what other people think of you. It's not how people judge you. It's what you think of yourself and how you're going to show up. This goes back to deciding that you're going to be the leader and you're going to show up with confidence and lead with confidence. Number two is patience. Be patient. This will pass. In a few months from now, we're going to be like, oh, I'm so glad we got through that. Do we know what next month brings? No. Do we know the next month brings? No. But can we be patient through it? Yes. Can we be proactive instead of reactive? Absolutely. Let's just get our facts straight. Let's get the proper information and push through this. Don't be doing knee-jerk reactions and being reactive to every single thing and changing your policies every 5 seconds, even though that's kind of what it feels like has been going on the last week. Be patient, make the best decision. That's how we keep moving forward. 3 is courage. Have courage to keep moving forward. I know that initial reaction to just shut yourself off and shut down, we can't do that. We've got to keep moving forward. Whatever that risk is, whatever that big thing is that you need to do for your business, pulling out a line of credit when you really don't want to pull out a line of credit, whatever that is, as a technician, still showing up to work, entering that house when you're not sure that it's really, I mean, making wise decisions, don't do anything crazy, but when you can keep acting with courage, that's when the reward will come. Be courageous as a leader. 4 is visualize. Visualize the results that you desire. Visualize where you want to be. Attach a positive emotion to them. Visualize where you will be in your job 2 months from now. Keep that positive image. Keep that positive outlook. Don't go doom and gloom. And number 5, I got to move my little Zoom box again. I'm covering it up. Ask for help. Connect with other people who've gone through similar challenges. Now, unprecedented times, people have gone through hard things before in their businesses, in their jobs, in their health, and they've gotten through it. And so it's good to always go to people who can help you with this. And leaders don't ever try to do things on their own. Leaders are looking for help. They go to their mentors. They go to people that they know can lead. You don't have to be so prideful that you have to come up with every solution on your own. You can be humble and turn to other people. I want to open it up for discussion again about where have you gone during this time to ask for help? Who have you looked to? And where have you received guidance to help you navigate this?
I mean, everybody can share on this one, or you can use the chat again. We've been doing a really good job using the chat. Angie and I were talking earlier, and there's definitely a lot of different businesses represented, as we have like 75 people on this call. We're really curious to hear from all of you. I mean, you guys all have different situations, and we've done obviously a lot of talk with different contracting businesses on here and had a lot of experience on our own, but there's manufacturers, wholesalers, service providers. You guys have all different systems and they've all been disrupted. What are some of the things that you've been doing? Who are the people you're reaching out to, and where are you looking for guidance? Is there anybody that wants to share?
Yeah, we'd love to have you speak up and share with all of us.
I'm going to call on some of you.
I'll speak.
All right, Mary and Marcia want to speak, so we'll go with Marcia, then Mary.
Okay, hey, so I work for a fairly large manufacturing facility, and we're staggering our work from home so that people that sit next to each other are gone on opposite days. So we all get some office time. I super miss my great big displays I have at work and having to work off my laptop at home. But the other thing we're doing is we have an emergency response plan. We have a plant shutdown plan in place just in case we have to do that. And then I've been sending letters to all of our, particularly our OEMs, letting them know what we're doing with our supply chain and what we're doing with just keeping our business open. So that's what we're doing.
Thanks, Marcia. I like the fact that you guys are staggering at home. As you can see, I'm still in my office. We kicked everybody else out of the office, so I kind of like my monitors too much. But we did let everybody kind of come in, take their chairs, take their monitors and stuff, and like so they can all work from home. But I like the idea of being able to stagger that to give everybody that opportunity. Mary had something she wanted to share.
So I work for a CRM platform. I haven't been with them super long. My background comes from nursing, so definitely new to this area. However, our company has obviously been focusing a lot on getting our name out. And so during this time, I had reached out to our owner and said, what can we do to help our companies we currently have? So he's been scheduling calls with them to just talk to them about what they can do. Since he does do business coaching, he's just reaching out and saying, try this, try that. We're providing templates for them to just send to their clientele saying, this is what we're doing. This is the outcome, you know, this is what we have to offer for you. We're making sure we're keeping you safe. Our technicians are doing this. And just, I had talked with the company earlier this week and said, we need to put a webinar together. Let's reach out to our partners, which is CEO Warrior and some other podcast partners, and let's put together a webinar for free to tell companies, like, how can we use this time to really thrive? Like, how do you get through these tough times as a company? Knowing that our owner has gone through all of that is very helpful, because he can speak to that. So it's been a very good time to take that and be able to outreach more and network more.
Thanks, Mary. It's true. I mean, like, we're actually kind of, if we're going to talk about gratitude, it is kind of one of those things where we have the ability to connect like we are today, using web meetings, using different online tools, and we're very remote. We're used to working kind of out of pocket. And so being able to having to apply these on a daily situation is actually an advantage. And I know there was some questions in the chat. I know Marcia had one, I didn't see who said it, but what are you doing on the manufacturing floor to encourage social distancing, Marcia, as far as the manufacturer?
Okay, well, yeah, so I did answer it, but we're pushing our work cells apart as far as possible. And then we also have daily cleaning that's happening every few hours, and that where someone has been assigned to go through and clean all of the touch points in any given area where people are working. So trying to keep everything super clean.
Nice. You don't even think about stuff like that, but that's a good point.
Well, we have water stations and things like that where that's a great place to share, germs. And so keeping those things clean, and maybe we might even end up turning those off. I don't know, but yeah, it's been really it's a big concern, because you don't want to have half your workforce out because they all get contaminated.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Actually, a question I have is, I don't know if there's a manufacturer or wholesaler with cleaning products to keep everything sanitized. Do you guys have resources because of the shortage right now with Clorox wipes, or where are you buying your products from? How can people get their hands on it that need to keep their operation going? And does anybody have any resources or know of people that are actually where you can get your hands on it right now?
We're making ours. I think our manufacturing, our maintenance department is probably managing that, but you just take water. I think it's 4 teaspoons to a quart of water, 5 tablespoons to a gallon of water. I think those are the ratios. That creates something you put into a spray bottle to use to wipe stuff down with. If you can't get Clorox, you might try a pool supply, because you use that to clean up your pool in the summer. So you can, a lot of times they'll have liquid chlorine too.
And your solution is water and what? Vinegar? I think she froze up on us.
Water and bleach.
Water and bleach, okay.
And then the other side of that was a pool supply would be a good place to get large amounts of that, because you're talking chlorine and bleach products at pool supplies.
Mm-hmm.
There is a lot going on in chat. I know Angie has some stuff to finish up, but we'll talk again.
Okay, well, I just, I just had a couple quotes to finish off, and then we can keep the discussion going, because I feel like these are very great questions and things we can all benefit from. I just wanted to end with a couple of quotes that I have from a great leader in my church, Joseph E. Wardland. He said that these experiences, while often difficult to bear at the time, are precisely the kinds of experiences that stretch our understanding, build our character, and increase our compassion for others. And these are all leadership traits: stretching our understanding, building our character, increasing our compassion. These are great leadership traits. And so the upside that I'm seeing of this whole thing is we're all going to come out a lot stronger, better leaders, more proactive, and we're going to have a lot more understanding, be able to deal with these kind of things when they happen again. He says, if we approach adversities wisely, Our hardest times can be times of greatest growth, which in turn can lead towards times of greatest happiness. One day we're all going to look back on this and be like, remember how crazy that was, but remember how we pushed through that, and remember the cool things that happened from that. This is the mindset that we need to have, is that mindset of a leader, and that we all are going to grow and become stronger and better, and our businesses in our industry will be strengthened because of that. And when we take on this mindset, I do believe that that can happen. And my final thought, just be the kind of leader that you would want to follow, and keep that in mind as you're making your decisions every day with those things that you can't control, your emotions, your attitude, and your responses. And just thanks everybody for participating. Colleen, let's keep the discussion going. Any questions or any other concerns that anyone wants to talk about on this call?
Well, I have two people I want to pick on if nobody's going to share. So, all right. First and foremost, I saw that Jenny Bryan is on this call, and I'm not going to let her hide. I hope she has a mic. We'll ask that first. Okay, Jenny, as a wholesaler, what are things that you guys are having to do with your warehouse or different practices as far as how you're working with your contractors or your manufacturers?
Oh, Colleen, thank you for the question. You know, what we're doing at the moment right now is you know, we're actually stocking up. We're placing large orders, especially having the indoor air quality products. Obviously, we want to have enough of that in stock to fulfill the needs. So obviously, those sales have increased. We've identified, you know, employees that can work from home, and anybody who can is working from home. The rest of the office staff and warehouse are, we don't have a lot of people in each warehouse, so we're able to maintain the social distancing. But you know, for the most part, on the wholesaler side, we're loading up right now, but we're also being smart about you know, the next couple weeks on how we maintain our cash flow.
Nice. Well, these are the things that, like, we talked a lot about stuff, but like there's some absolute necessity with having orders filled and everything like that. And you guys have different procedures you had in place. So I was just curious. I know there's several other wholesalers. I was just picking on who I could grab first.
No, we've also actually made sure that, you know, we've got a B2B site that, you know, although we can't have dealers come into our parts counter anymore, but we have a good functioning website that people can go on and actually place online orders. And then we're doing will call pickups. So that business has increased as well.
Nice. Denise mentioned in the chat that as a wholesaler as well, they've been offering increased webinars for training on their different products. As I mentioned earlier in the call, I imagine by the end of this, we will all be black belts in web meetings, as this is the new norm. Thank you so much for sharing that, Jenny. Is there anybody else that wants to share some different procedures? I have one more person to pick on if we don't. It's like roulette here. I mean.
Yeah, can you hear me, Colleen?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Laura Seha with the
Hey,
United
Laura.
Association. Hey, I just want to mention that our programs with the UA, as you know, we have apprenticeship for HVACR service techs, and we've always had Blackboard and online. We have like an online learning resource library that we've had, and Blackboard courses provided for all our membership. But it's always been we've used it in conjunction with our classes, but it's always been a necessity is the mother of invention type of thing, where we know it's there, but we have face-to-face classes. So now we did a training a few weeks ago, which was literally just-in-time training, because all of our you know, thousands of instructors across the United States have been logging into webinars we've been giving to get them on board, get them on Blackboard, so we can continue our apprenticeship classes, so we don't have to shut them down like many technical colleges are doing, or having people stay home. And we're actually able to even give technical courses online. Now, they're not going to be hands-on, of course, but they're very intensive. So we're really lucky that we could do that and have that set in place.
Yeah, training is a good point right now. We talked about it on the call the other day. A lot of companies are taking this time, if they do have a low call volume or stuff like that, to encourage training, even doing it remotely, taking a good use of your time. Thank you for sharing, Laura. I have two people that I had in mind that of course, so Sarah on the board is a actual business owner and technician who's actually in the field right now in Texas. And then I wanted to just give a heads up to Paula Kincannon. I was going to actually pick on her next. Sarah, you had 2 points you wanted to share.
Yes, so number one is I've reminded my guys, and I wanted to tell everyone else, my background is actually in biology. The number one thing to note about hand washing is even if you don't have soap or hand sanitizer or whatever you want to use on your hands, just simply going to the homeowner's hose outside and washing your hands, the actual friction of mechanically rubbing your hands together for 20 seconds is what removes 80% of the germs that are on your hands. We're using a lot of hand sanitizer that's drying out our hands. Lotion is also a thing now, especially with my male technicians that are not.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down.
The other thing I was going to mention is I've seen a lot of other people across the industry, board service industry-wise, that are wearing their booties outside and then right back into the house. Guys, this defeats the purpose. Take your booties off before you go outside and put them back on or get new ones to go in. I've yet to see a shortage of booties in the service industry, at least here in Texas.
Thank you, Sarah. That's a good point.
Sarah is like a woman of like everything, right? Like biology too, and business owner, and like you know everything, Sarah. I'm so impressed.
And she can wear stilettos with an attitude.
Exactly.
Thank
Paula,
you. Sorry,
Sarah.
I put on a full face of makeup today just to make myself feel happier when I look at my smears of stuff in the mirror. I look ridiculous. It makes homeowners laugh, but it's only that makes people happy.
I love it.
And myself. Thanks for all your positive comments.
That's awesome. Hey, even just me today actually doing my hair and actually doing my makeup today to be on web calls, that's enough for me to be like, okay, it's enough to do pajamas all the time, but it kind of gets you out of your funk a little bit. Paula, if you're still with us, I was hoping you had something to share or something as far as who you were counting on to give you instruction or what you were doing for your team.
Well, yes, I'm still here. And yeah, pretty much for Training Technologies is really been great so far this week, and just communicating from above and setting expectations for people. Pretty much as of Monday, those that can work from home are working from home. And they're also really encouraging people to do a self-assessment in the morning. They've sent out, forms to, assess yourself, take your temperature, how do you feel? And if, you don't feel well at all, please stay home. And that way, keep the offices safe. They've also done some great communication to our building owner partners, what a building owner can do to keep their facility clean and have the HVAC system working at top condition. As somebody just said, work from home. Somebody just sent out an email, here's the 5 things to do to help you work from home. And one of the first things is get dressed, get up, get dressed, take a shower, pretend like you're going to get in the car and go. Have a structure in place, have your work environment outside of your personal space. So if you can avoid working at the kitchen table, if you have a separate space, separate the work, from your home life, and keep a schedule. Keep a schedule. You don't have to work now because you're home all the time, 7 days a week, like some of us want to do. So keep it separate. So that's a couple of points that I've paid attention to this week.
Great tips.
That's a good point. Angie?
I just said those are great tips to help you stay focused and on track with, especially when you're at home and this is a new environment. It goes back to the adapting, making this your new normal, but keeping the structure there. So thanks for sharing that, Paula. That's awesome.
it's so easy to get in a funk on that kind of stuff. My team is all working remotely, like I said, and like I'm in an empty office. But for me, because I'm out of pocket so many different times when I'm traveling, coming into the office for me, I get more done. It's hard for me when I'm working at home. Yeah, I get so many distractions there too, and I'm sure all of you guys are the same. And if you have the ability to set aside a space or intentionally get dressed, which is hard because comfy pants are so amazing. But you know, actually taking that time, it does make you more productive. It does get you out of your funk. It makes you at least, you know, kind of set yourself up to be productive. Is there anybody else? There's a bunch of stuff. Oh, Valerie shared some webinars and stuff that they're doing for Service Titan. And this presentation is being recorded and we'll be able to review it. But my thing is I want to try and copy all the comments because we got a ton of amazing comments. And so I'm going to stay on afterwards and see if I can get all those down because I think a lot of the value and discussion has been actually in that comment section. So I'll try and actually transcript that today because, you know, I got all this time. Is there anybody else that wants to share and, you know, has anything they want to talk about as far as different tips and tricks or, you know, where they're getting their strength from or what they're doing with their team? I think Danielle's still on or somebody. Sorry, go Randy, yeah.
Hey, I just wanted to say we have a relatively small office in our Atlanta market, and we gave everybody the option. We have a cloud server, so they have the option of working from home on company laptops. But I was really surprised at during this time where we're not on complete lockdown, the people who do want to come because of the structure. You know, they were given the option to stay home. But they're like, you know what, I feel great, and there's only going to be 2 of us, and we're, you know, 100 feet apart, so I'd like to come in. And that makes a difference, too, because I think people thrive in structure, certainly in times of uncertainty. So just them having the option of, hey, we know we're a ways apart, you know, they know that we're having the office, you know, professionally cleaned several times a week at this point. So that, you know, they wanted to come in. So I think the flexibility and people being able to still adhere to their same structure if they feel great and they know that the office is being cleaned, and we've kind of put up signs like for people delivering things that, you know, they can leave them at the door. So still being able to provide that structure because some people don't want to be at home. You know, I have a lady that works for me that the last thing she wants to do is she lives by herself. So, I mean, she doesn't really want to work from home. She'd rather have her normalcy. So while we're still able to do that, I think it's good to have that option for people who want to be in the office and keep going at a normal pace.
Randy, I'm so glad you brought that up. In fact, Angie was talking to me yesterday about that. Angie had some really good points as far as everybody's needs are different. You know, and you can't meet all of them, but there are some with your team based on what they're concerned about, what their anxieties are, and find out what you can do within, you know, keeping everybody safe, of course, that fits what they need. And as a leader, sometimes that really just calms their anxiety because, like you said, you had a worker, an employee that wanted to work in the office and not work at home all the time, and that really helped her able to cope. So find out what that is, you know, talk to your team and find out what they can, what they need from you.
Right. Yeah, it's worked out because, you know, most of our office people have said, you know what, I'd like to stay home. I think I'd rather stay home. And then, but we've had like 2 or 3 that they want to be there. So they are our skeleton crew in the office. And so it's really balanced out well. So them having the option has definitely served a great purpose. And I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting everybody to say, oh yeah, you know, work from home, absolutely. But so I was kind of surprised when we had people who said, you know, I'm not ready to do that until we absolutely have to. And, you know, we're disinfecting, but I think we'll be okay. So that's been beneficial for everybody, giving everybody the option of what they want to do.
Thank you, Randy. All right, so we're kind of closing in, but I actually wanted to call on Danielle real quick. Also, Danielle and I haven't discussed this yet, but with the amount of stuff we have coming up as far as we don't know what we're going to be doing, we might have the opportunity to do more of these Zoom calls just because our schedules are a little different and more people will be available from home to jump on web meetings. So we'll be discussing that in the future. I know next week's call is Danielle, and I'll let Danielle talk about that and even what she's doing with her own business.
On the same thing as everybody else, pretty much with our own business. Everybody's cleaning the office every day, being careful, staying away from everybody. You know, I think
it kind of it's slow to come, the coronavirus here in Georgia. We're just starting to see it in our town. And so I think it was really good morale-wise for our team. There was some team members that were starting to be a little negative, and scared, like Angie talked about, is the fear coming out. And so I found it very important to pull those people aside and to talk about the importance of not scaring coworkers, because then they can't be focused at work and we can't help anybody that way. And so spreading fear is not good for anybody. And so having those conversations I've found to be really, really helpful and important, and keeping the morale up. And overall, we've had a great week because we've all been here together. Next week, we might not be able to be here together because, like I said, it was slow to get here. And so now we might have to spread out and start working from home. But we've been doing the same precautions as everybody else. But great tips today. Good content, Angie. Great job. Great job, Colleen, and everybody's input. For next week's Zoom call, I don't have the speaker locked down yet. So I'll have to share that on Tuesday when Colleen emails it out. But who I have planned to be the speaker is an excellent business coach. And so I hope to see you guys all online. He'll have a lot of really great things to share. I just don't have him locked in yet. So I'll let you know very soon.
Yeah, guys, we'll keep you posted. And if you have ideas, we want to hear from you. I do have a couple people that want to speak coming up at the end of April, and we'll be filling spots as we can. But for sure, we have a call next week, and who knows? Possibly the week after that, we'll see where this takes us, and you guys will find out in your email. It seems like you guys are getting them because our attendance is up like crazy just on most of our calls. And we really appreciate your time. I will take some time to transcribe some of this chat, and maybe we'll try a new method. I know some of the calls that Angie and I do with another group we're in is we do kind of a digest email afterwards just to kind of give everybody like the highlights of what we discussed, and it seems to be one of the best parts of the call. And I know Danielle and I are super busy, but maybe that's something we can try to see what we can do within a scalable, way to try and add value to make sure that we're having some resources afterwards, because that seems to be the hardest part right now. So anyway, really thank you guys for your time. Stay safe. I will keep you updated on what's happening with Women HVACR, but at the moment, most of our spring events, actually all of our spring events are on hold, and we will see what the next couple of weeks bring us, just like everybody else. Thank you guys, and have a great weekend. Stay safe.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, I was about to hang up, and I'm like, oh, that's right, I have a chat to transcribe.
Hey, Colleen, I'll tell you how you can save the chat. It's super easy. So go to the bottom where there's those three little dots, and it says more. Yes. And you click on that, and there's a save chat right there, and I'll go to your notepad.
Yay! Chat saved in folder. Love it.
Anyone can save a chat at any time if they want to save it for themselves too.
I just learned something today. I've been totally copying ours from our AB80 calls.
Don't do that.
That's crazy. Thank you so much, Angie, for your time today. Good presentation.
Thank you. So many great people on and good comments.
Well, if you give me a copy of that, we'll see what we can do as far as sending it out again. We had so many people. I think our highest, we had 83 on the call.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to give you a copy of the presentation, and you can share that with whoever needs it.
Now, Zoom kind of gives me a list of people that went, but they don't give me an easy way to download all the emails. So we'll work on that. Maybe we'll try and do a blast.
I can show you a way to find that too.
All right. Well, maybe we can stay on this together. I love how Renee, Felicia, Juliet, Marty, Renee, and Sarah, and Connie, and Andrea are like, we're just going to stay here and watch them. It's cool. That's fine.
So you'll have to wait till it's over, because then once it's over, you'll get, maybe we can hop on a separate Zoom and I can show you how to dive into that and get it.
All right. I'm going to end this one, and then I'll give you a call.
Okay. See you.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you guys.